As I was discussing in our lovely short, the point of view of a securely attached person when it comes to true love. Actions match those lovely words, and they also express the lovely emotions. But that's because a securely attached person has a 3-year-old who does not store that heartbreak gut wrench, which is a very important topic for those who have had childhood trauma, and therefore they are still on a journey towards their healing. Or if they are healed, on the other hand, that's where we will have fun. 3-year-olds and 3-year-olds, meaning the essence that we all hold, because every person, average day-to-day person, has these charge states. I learned this from my lovely trauma educational certificate course with my teacher, Sue Martin. As she explained, there's also other words that they use, the IFS model, and then there's, I think, another one too. So I got to get taught about charged states and their different age groups, and that they stay like frozen popsicles. Basically, they process and uncharge in time. Now, I do know the updated mental health information is not something welcomed by all of those who are in the same industry. You'd think that subject matter experts would agree, but no, of course not, because they each will have different research material, different hypotheses. Anybody who has gone to college, raise your hand. I got a master's, and I noticed that my colleagues did not agree on anything. So the part about the difference between knowing when somebody uses the word research or studies, how big is the sample, what kind of data, and that's where stereotypes and generalizations are awful, and people that are everyday use them. So here's where trauma memory and trauma, they are being used as well. I also make use of these words, but the difference is when you try to create a trending topic versus educate. So trending topic is, let me help you spiritually awaken by letting you know that your survival mode will block your spiritual ascension. No, false. You're not blocking your spiritual ascension, because your spiritual process and just the word gets thrown around without a person knowing about their charge states. And that's a very big deal, because your left and right mode of the brain is what you're using as a human being. Oh, and your brain is an organ, and it's an anticipatory organ. So it's going to look for the negative to keep you safe, not because humans are negative. And then we have right here another spiritual warfare. The 4D collective loves talking about the energy vampires and dark auras, which is very insulting to people who know that there are no dark auras or energy vampires. There are individuals who have trauma memory, in fact, from childhood trauma. And if you look close enough, you'll see them following their silverback, the lovely culty cult leader, or the traditional cult leader, or even the ethical cult, by being cheerleaders, and all of them wearing super capes and singing songs about how wonderful and what many gifts they have. And the part about clairs, when I first became awakened to a connectedness with a sphere that is energy. Thank you, physicists, for existing, because see, this is where I love my scientific methodology people, and I love that we have those who are building empirical research. I'm a woo-woo lady, and I'm not the empirical research. No, I'm pseudoscience lady, which is good, because I respect those who truly sit behind a desk and build data, versus the conspiracy theorists who go and pick pieces of data and then they pile it up, and like Hansel and Gretel, they did a little breadcrumb trail. This is what people don't realize about your subjective experience. Anyone can use their brain to add up a trail. You know how far back? It depends. How much do you want to focus? It's like the flat earthers. They've built an entire group of people. Like, this is something that any individual who has the ability to be aware of life in a just regular human 101 way will be like, wow, okay, we have groups that actually follow trails. There's a reason why I talked about trauma and the 3-year-old. Your implicit memory is the first 3 years of your life. Your body is your feminine and your masculine is your head. And the 4D community likes to talk about the twin flame saga, which they've just, let's even put that one all the way to the side, because they don't know what they're talking about. 5D mystic here. I do have twin flames, not just one. Lovely stories, might I add. Yes. especially when you're a securely attached person. As I was saying, true love, actions match words, always, not sometimes. Inconsistent actions and words match insecure attachment. Trauma, wounds, trauma, memory, 3-year-old heartbreak, gut wrench, very serious business. But you know what you'll notice about people who don't go to get the good mental health information? Oh, I've noticed projection. So while people who do have a journey ahead of them, thank you so much, Patrick Tiahan, for being on the platform. He is a therapist and he's a childhood trauma survivor. And he has a beautiful community of people that he shares with how not to be projecting and how healing is a journey with a good therapist that can hold space for your inner child, that can hold space and teach you about codependent type relationships, because you're going to be inclined to be used to being treated certain ways and to being in certain dynamics. Thank you, Terry Real, for explaining how everybody goes and does that unfinished business when they get married. So if you learn about attachment, every human has an attachment system. Every human has these charge states. There's 5 of them. Every human has a nervous system because we're bodies. Now, I do know how much people love a story. That's why, as I said, anyone can build a breadcrumb of trails. When you grab the data is going to spell out to you. You know why we have shame, by the way? It actually does serve a purpose, but it served the purpose in the ancient times. Now we still have this social system. That's right. I just learned about that one in my recent updated trauma educational course, so that I can support people who actually want to move into their human 101. And I say actually because, as I was saying, the projection part. So while movies present to you love in this form of drama, which is completely not love, because see, your body can only be in a state of physiological love when you are safe in it, because the oxytocin gene hormone turns on in your body when you are safe to be yourself. So that means you're easygoing, you get charged, but you're still connected with your prefrontal cortex. Your frontal lobes are not squished down, and your neuroplasticity is not enlarging your amygdala, which a lot of people, again, they're like, wow, pseudoscience lady's talking a lot of BS. Yeah, sure, go for it. I'm happy to be the BS lady too. What I do know is how a brain can work, because I've learned a lot from the beautiful Daniel Siegel, and I'm continuing to learn. And I'm going to say again, research, it takes years for people to build it. And for example, Stephen Porges is continuing his research because he's dedicated to sharing and teaching and showing and bringing to the community more on the polyvagal theory. And so for now, since it's unproven, and these subject matter experts, they do not agree on everything. Lo and behold, did anybody think human beings would actually agree on everything? And here's where I am a human being, and yeah, I don't agree with anyone when it comes to how they crap on being a human. I think being a human is awesome because we're not broken, because I'm not projecting a heart that thinks and feels, I should say, broken outside of me. I'm whole. And so those who are whole, true love is you're not broken. You might have attachment insecurity, which will lead you to not know how to nurture your body and your mind, your brain. And you can learn about it because when you're interacting with another person, if you hurt my feelings, you're going to see me cry, aren't you? Or maybe you're going to hear me say, I'm crying. Or maybe you're not going to give 2 shits, but it has nothing to do with the devil or demons. No, I love being a mystic for that reason. Not because I don't know when people talk to me about seeing demons or devils, that plane of energy, that charge. Yes, I actually do know it quite well. And what I see when I'm looking at a person is a person. And what I know from the mental health professionals is that a brain develops according to circumstance. So if you have emotional neglect or physical neglect, you're not going to get stimuli that allows your actual human being brain to develop certain areas that involve you being able to actually know pleasure. Because if nobody is actually there to applaud you and emotionally invested, your brain is a circuitry. There's no need for aliens. There's no need to talk about yourself like a robot either, which is the other part of these people who talk about people like we're robots versus just normal conversations. You're a person. And if you're not loved in a way, your 3-year-old doesn't know love. So you don't know true love yet because you don't know how to love who you are unconditionally. Purusha. Pure consciousness, prakriti, your pure energies, your nervous system. Learning how to harness it means you having a relationship with you first of all. That's your first intimate relationship. and true love. And then you can share it with others. Tune in for more.